Um, okay, I'm gonna rant for a little bit here before we move to the next episode.
Are we going to Kaer
We're
for this
going to
rant?
Kaer We're going to
Okay.
Kaer We're
Just
talking
wanna
about
make
the
sure I'm like,
Witchers. Yeah.
into what I think you're gonna rant about.
So they showed us a bunch of Witchers, and
Mhm.
firstly, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know there were that many Witchers presently.
Yeah.
That was a thing that um, there are other Witchers schools, and there's other Witchers in the world.
Mhm.
But as far as Kaer I don't. Yeah, I was surprised at how many there were there. We were introduced to some important ones. Eskel in particular, and I thought, all right, I can see it, all right. And
Mhm.
then Lambert looks nothing like what he's supposed to. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Vesemir is pretty spot on. That's great. That's well done.
Mhm.
My complaint is, I mean, spoilers. Eskel dying.
Okay. I'm just gonna say I'm so glad your complaint is with Eskel because I actually love the guy who plays Lambert. Like,
Okay,
I know he
see,
looks
this is
nothing I know he looks
yes.
nothing like it, but, like, I'm just sort of okay with, like, them just, like, taking, like, a total break, and this guy's personality, like, I'm into it.
Just
Like, I
slick
feel
his
like
hair
he
back and dye
embodies
it dark.
I
That's
mean,
all
okay,
I'm
maybe.
asking. Again, this is not rocket science. Like,
So
why do you purposely have to deviate? Now, if, maybe this character specifically in the books is like, he's kind of, strawberry haired, frizzy haired guy. All right. Okay. He's got big hair. Okay. I don't know that. That could be the case.
sure.
Again, I'm talking because clearly they've taken a lot of influence from the games for
Mhm.
important characters, for fan favorites and whatever, they've taken stuff from the games. But
Yeah.
yes,
I
ultimately
just
the
feel like his
personality is there. I think
personality is,
it's
like,
yeah,
spot on. He
yeah.
he sort of and I don't know if they were going for this at all, and if this was, like, a thought in their minds. He sort of reminds me of Game of Thrones Tormund Giantsbane
Yeah.
with, like, the
Yeah.
strawberry blonde, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
so
yep.
that so if, like, that's what's going on, like, I'm actually here for that. Like, I kind
Mhm.
of love it. I love the way he looks, I love the way his personality is, and he's just, like, a fun guy. I
I
also
mean, he's
I
supposed to be
don't
kind of
know
an
about
asshole, but yeah.
I don't well, he is kind of an asshole. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not like, super nice to Siri or
No.
like, like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, let me help you through your training." He's kind of like, "Let me watch you get beaten up." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a good, I could sit down with some meat and whatever our
Yeah.
version of popcorn is and just like watch this all day. Um, so yeah, so I quite like him, but I don't know what his importance is, obviously, storyline wise, if that's like, you know,
Sure.
gonna be an issue later on down the road.
Yep.
But
Well,
yeah, to get
yeah.
to Eskel, your
Eskel,
problems.
okay. So they killed him. I mean, Eskel is of all, yeah,
What?
of all the
John,
Witchers
spoilers.
involved, there's a few mainstays that are kind of important. They play a role in series upbringing, and Eskel's one of them. And so it was very odd, and I was very shocked, and I
Mhm.
definitely had a fit of rage when I saw it. I was like, "No way you're doing this! No way you're doing this! You have a room full of Witchers, and you take Eskel and kill him? What do you do? What is happening here?" And so I looked like, okay, did this happen in the books? Is this a thing that happens in the
Mm,
books and they just change? No, it is not a thing that happens in the books. They
okay.
purposely did this. The showrunner talked about it, and I don't buy the excuses. She wants to say that there's they wanted more, they wanted a death, someone meaningful for greater impact, and for that to be a reason that Geralt needs to push to train Ciri. And I'm calling BS on that because, firstly, from the first episode alone, you have enough reason to need you to be
Mhm.
able to defend yourself. She got in a lot, it got a lot of trouble there. She's in major danger. You're around all kinds of major danger. Okay. She's
I was just about to
uh
do that, thank you.
um but you need to know other motivation for this character to need to be able to defend herself. Especially when you're going to see how willing she is, because she's has a figure now that Mousak is gone to look up to. This like
Mhm.
father figure that she, begins to really respect and wants to be like. So um, I just don't buy it, and I don't understand why they did this. It's a good character they could have had around. In this way,
Mhm.
then our only look at Eskel is not an accurate, a reasonable portrayal of Eskel,
Mhm.
because Eskel's a nice guy. Like he's
Yeah.
he's a nice dude, and here he had attitude. Because I was like, okay, well he's injured, and clearly this is affecting him, and he's like messed up, and
Yeah.
okay, all this stuff, and they're gonna
Mhm.
fix it. They're gonna deal with it. And instead, we never get to see it. And
So
Yeah.
I
yeah,
had I had read an article, and I think it was the showrunner commenting on it, and I wish I had saved the article before I realized that we were going to be talking about it too much. But uh, that that character was written. These events were written into the show not as Eskel. They were just written in as a Witcher does this, and then they literally just put the name on the character in the events that they had written in, and then you can speculate as to why you would just throw a beloved name onto a character. So this was not written as Eskel, which is why he seems so off,
hmm
right? Which is
Mhm.
and why they were willing to toss it out. But like, I guess the showrunner just decided, yep, we're going to use this character name that people know. And
Mhm.
to me, the only explanation you can do that for then is shock value. But then
yep,
you
Mhm.
question,
exactly.
okay, so what for? Because me, as a
Right.
person who hasn't played the games, I don't know Eskel from any other Witcher, so I don't
Mhm.
care. So it doesn't
Yeah,
carry
Mhm.
any weight for me. So
Yes.
right.
literally, all you've done is tick off the people who do care.
Yep.
Yep.
I 100% agree with your statement. Like, as someone coming in brand new, I was just introduced to Eskel, so I don't really have any attachment to him other than like, ooh, he's a named character, like maybe he's going to be important, but I
Yeah,
don't have any of that actual build up to care about him. Um and you've just now taken him away. And I don't think that there's much emotional impact in that. I don't think there's enough of us seeing that relationship between him and Geralt for us to understand that like his death is the impetus for him to start training Ciri. I did write it down in my notes. Like, obviously I can see that he is affected and now he's like going to do this with her because of this death. But as an audience member, like I don't actually have emotional investment in that. I can logically see the train of thought, but I'm not there with it emotionally. So I could have it really could have been any other Witcher at this point. It really just could have been some rando that came home, I still have no attachment to. You don't At this point you don't even need to give him a name if you don't want to.
hey,
Um and it would have had about the same impact for me, the viewer. And it
Yep.
would have had the same impact, I think, for maybe not Geralt, but you could have, like, stretched that and just said, like, he saw a fellow Witcher go down
They're all
and
brothers.
and yeah, exactly, and wanted to then train Ciri to defend herself. But I think it would have had the same impact for Vesemir, because his whole thing this season, even though we're just getting introduced to him, I can already tell that, like, his thing is he's a father figure to all these Witchers. He wants to make more. He's lost so many. He feels like those losses, the numbers are dwindling, like, you know, and that's his pain. And he sort of like wants to replace them, not directly, but like indirectly by making more of this brotherhood.
Yep.
So you could have lost any Witcher and that would have had the same impact for every character.
Yeah, you guys bring up good points of that. Cause I didn't think of that. Having known this character for so long, it's like, yeah, of course. If you didn't know, like, which one would it matter? Pick a
Yeah,
nameless one.
it doesn't. It
Yep.
doesn't. Truly, the way the show dealt with it. Now, this would have been later in the season. We would have like seen Eskel. Maybe he like struggled with this wound that the Leshy gave him, and like things are happening with his character later on down the road. Absolutely, this scene would have been like, ugh, like gut wrenching, perhaps, as we see his relationship build up. But he's there and he's gone.
Well, and then why? Because I thought, okay, this is how he's going to get extra scarred. The character Eskel is supposed to be,
Yeah.
very, very messed
Mm-hmm.
up. on his face. So they're gonna have to get this out of him, and he's gonna
Right.
feel the physical consequence from it. So
Right.
I was on board until there, and especially then they killed him, and it was for nothing because he didn't actually kill the source. The
Right.
thing that he was attacked him that then infected him was still alive. So he really, was like meaningless.
Well, well, it wasn't completely meaningless because he brought back the arm that then Geralt and Triss were able
Yeah.
to determine that like somebody was making these creatures and it's like from the same source. But again, we didn't really need like Eskel to be the one to do
Yep.
that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Yep.
again, any other Witcher would have been like a great sacrifice in his place to advance the storyline and we would have just been like, okay, bye.